We'll be taking the students' reactions based on the morning session of JEE paper 2A. So basically, how exactly the architecture paper went about, how was it? Was it easy? Was it difficult compared to the first session that was conducted in the previous month? All these things we would just be listening to from our students. We have two of our champions who have joined, Sriraj and Pavan. Hello to both of you. Welcome to the session.
Hello, sir.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
I think both of you are have already an experience of writing the first section, right? Both of you have written the first sections, right? Great. So I think it's an ideal combination to have a discussion about. We'll start with sorry. We'll start with Pavan. Pavan. We'll start with one of the most important parts of JE paper 2A, the architecture one, that is drawing. So how was it? How was this time's experience, and how was it compared to the previous session?
The drawing for this exam was definitely easier. So for me personally, the rendering was quite easier than the first session, and the 3D part and the 2D part was also quite easy. For the first exam, I attended the morning session in which the 3D rendering was of a portrait of an old woman. In this session also, there was a question based on the portrait of an old woman, but we had the option of having to choose between a rendering and decoding. So I found that quite useful.
Okay, great. Let's take it to Sriraj. Sriraj, how was it? How was the drawing session?
Yeah, drawing session, as Pavan said, it was comparatively easy. They gave choices this time, and that was the most easiest part, I think. The first question consisted of rendering and also um, conversion of the decoding in 2D composition. And the second question also they gave two options, and first one was rendering a food street that of a town you have visited, and the second one was, I think they gave a Mondrian painting and told us to give a warm color in a 3D way, and that was also a bit easy. Very time, we could save time there in drawing session 2. So
Okay.
comparatively from session 1, the drawing session was easy, and we could save some time from the drawing session.
Okay, great. Let's talk about probably the most dreaded subject, or the one that's most scared to a lot of architecture students, mathematics. So Pavan, how was it? How many questions did you answer? How many questions had you answered in the previous session? How was it?
Math was easier for me this time, sir, but I'm not sure if it was because I prepared more or if the questions were easier. I definitely was able to do more questions, and I could have done more questions, but time did not allow. So I had to settle with 8 questions. In the first exam, I could only attempt like 2 to 3 questions.
Okay, but I think it's also quite disturbing to know that the results of the first session has not yet been out. So, like, you people might be finding it very difficult to figure out where exactly you people are standing, right, compared to the other students and all. It's quite disheartening. I hope NTA at least opens up their eyes now. Okay, so Sriraj, how was it? How was the math section?
Max in general is very tough for me. So I just attended the most sure questions in that. So in the previous session also, I just attended like that because in general, Max is a very tough subject for me. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Now, I think in the last time, I think the first sessions. GK part was quite difficult for a lot of students. So how was it this time? Like, have they included a lot of history questions? Have they given more importance to arc awareness or aptitude? Pavan, how was it? Can you take us through that?
They asked there was more weightage for history this time, sir, but GK, I would say the difficulty level was almost the same. It's just that the weightage of the subjects were different. This time history was given more importance, and I'd say like autobiographies and biographies and biopics and documentaries were also given quite importance. GK was definitely almost the same. The difficulty was almost the same.
Okay, I think they'd also asked some history-based questions, right? Monuments-based questions were there. Rowlatt Act was there. I think Red Fort was also there, right? Okay. And there were also questions based on architecture awards, I guess, right? The Bar Pritzker Prize and all were asked into mark
Yeah,
the
yeah.
award. I think that was probably quite typical or probably expected. Shaking Minarets question was asked. I think there was question on Bihu, right? Bihu, which is celebrated in Assam. I think there were questions on that also. Okay. Okay, that's interesting. Let's look at Sriraj. How was it? How was GPA, art awareness, and all for you?
Yeah. It was comparatively easy because in the first session they started asking about India's geography also. There were questions related to India's geography, rivers, mountains, and all. But this time those were not there. So instead of that, they started putting more history questions. Yeah, there was questions related to Rowlatt Act and all. So that was not expected actually to be asked in JEE paper two. So yeah, but it was doable actually.
Okay, I think yeah, on that note, probably except in case of the Rowlatt Act question and probably the books and all, or probably Bihu, I think most of the others were relatively easier, the kind of questions that they have asked. But I think books, documentaries, and all have, in the last 2 years become a lot more famous or common in terms of JE paper two. So it has almost got into the or found a way into the syllabus of JE paper 2A. I think that's all that all has become expected sort of questions. Okay, talking about aptitude, the non-verbal reasoning part that were asked. How was it, Sriraj? How was it for you?
The non-verbal was very easy. The options were also easily identifiable. There were no more confusing options when the question was the mirror images and all. The options are generally confusing, but this time the options were also kind of easy. So it
No.
was easy to locate the correct answer within a very short period of time.
Okay. To everyone who is listening to us on this live, please do share your experience also. Please do let us know which ones you find interesting, which ones you found difficult, which ones were unexpected, which ones were easy, and all. Sriraj, coming back to the aptitude section as a whole, I think there are 50 questions, right? So how many did you attempt? How many could you attempt in that?
Yeah, I was I was able to attend almost like 46 questions.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, I think that's quite a
Two of
good
them,
number.
were from the book section, the author and all. So I was not sure about that, so I didn't attend that. And two of them was also from current affairs, the shaking minaret and all. So I was a little confused about that, and there was a math following question about the buildings and the architects, and also I was also a little bit confused about that. So I just left these four questions aside from answering and just attended the one I was most sure about.
Okay, okay, great. Coming back to Pavan. Pavan, how was it? How was it for you? How did you find the aptitude section? How did you find the non-verbal questions?
Aptitude was quite easy. So the non-verbal questions were comparatively very easy. They weren't time consuming. You could solve each in about 20 to 30 seconds. And they were quite easy. And apart from the current affairs and the books and documentaries, the other questions were doable and very easy.
Okay. So again, how many could you attempt out of 50? How many could
I
you attempt?
attempted 48 out of 50, sir. The question
48.
about Bihu and the shaking minaret was the one I did not attempt.
Okay. So I think roller act and all is quite famous, right? It's probably known to everyone, right? Oh, that's great. So basically, we had conducted a poll on how the exams were, and I think most of them felt that it was relatively easier compared to the session one. But again, then the sad part in this is that you don't know how the session one went. The results are not yet out, and they've conducted the next exam. So I was just discussing with the students that it's almost like playing a couple of finals. You still don't know what is the result, but you are still playing. It's quite disturbing state. Okay. Now, the two JEE papers are over. The two NATA papers are over. There's one more that is left. Tell me your future plans, Pawan.
I'm trying to aim for a higher score, a significantly higher score in my third NATA, so that I can increase my average. And obviously, I'm trying to get into SET or CET for architecture. That's my future plan. So.
Okay, great. Anything that you want to say to the JEE aspirants specifically? Like you have written both the exams of JEE paper 2. So anything that you want to tell to the aspirants for 2023?
What I would say is practice math every day, because even if you can attempt 6 to 7 questions, I think that would be a very plus point. And focus mainly on the subjects you find difficult, I would say, and practice drawings, renderings. That's all I have to say.
Okay, so practice drawing and maths every day and the difficult subjects that you want. Okay, that's quite interesting. Okay, how about you, Sriraj?
Yeah, I'm looking forward towards NITs or coming to NATA. I would like to get into CT or GEC Thrissur or something. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So mainly
You're also
focusing.
writing the third. You're also writing the third NATA, or you're contemplating it. You're thinking about whether to write or not.
No. I'm writing the third NATA so that I could increase my average. At least if every score matters, right? So if we get to score more, it would be great.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Talking about your suggestions or advice to the aspirants who want to prepare for 2023 JEE paper 2.
Yeah, I would like to tell them, if you're focusing on JEE, practice drawing and max more. Also solving the previous UC papers would help them to do the non-verbals and all very quickly. So that'd be nice if you're solving previous year UC paper. So you'd be good in aptitude session, and if you're practicing max, you could do max quickly and practice rendering and 2D composition, how to identify, how to create composition from the images given, and also try practicing that so you could identify how you could develop a composition from a given image. So yeah.
Okay, great. So UC papers, practice drawing and max, and also regarding the tough subjects, giving that also importance. Okay. I think every time a JEE aspirant had told me to focus on mathematics, if I had got 1 rupee, I think I would have been a millionaire by now. Such is the importance of mathematics. The idea is not to score huge marks, but as Pavan had rightly pointed out, to reach the sweet spot of 6, 8, or 10 questions, if you can score, it's going to make a huge difference. So if you are average or slightly above average or really good at mathematics, it's something that I think everyone could, take away from this particular life. And I think you have two veterans who have written both the JEs telling the same thing. I think the same thing was reiterated in the previous lives also after the first section. So I think, yes, that's one of the most important points. But overall, or all in all, the kind of response that we have got compared to session 1, especially in session 1's morning half, JEE paper 2, I think it's relatively easier. That's what we understand. Anyway, ultimately, what's going to happen and all, it's in the hands of NTA. I hope they do really publish the results as soon as possible. It's something that students have been awaiting, and the anxiety is sort of quite increasing. So thanks to both of you. Thanks to both of you for joining. We have our two champions of, Sriraj and all. I think he had slept only for a couple of hours, 4 or 5 hours yesterday, and still after the exams have managed to sneak into the life. Thank you for joining. Thank you for taking the pain out, and thank you, Pawan. Thank you to you two for joining. To everyone who is preparing for NATA, all the best. Prepare very well, prepare very hard. We have the curiosity quizzes and all that will be coming up. Hopefully, we would also try to arrange question paper discussion sessions in the coming days. Okay, we have our new batches for NATA Crash Batch, the last and final exclusive Crash Batches that is starting from the 1st of August. So if you have any doubts, you want to join or things like that, you can contact us at 8086 111 Okay. So that's it from this particular live wherein we discussed about JEE's first paper that happened today, paper 2A. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you, Pawan and Sriraj. Thank you, host.